Have you experienced pauses while reading a book because you do not know the meaning of the word? Or have you ever experienced stuttering while speaking in front of a crowd? Or do you find it difficult to understand someone if he speaks fluent English? In this video, I will share with you the tips on how to become fluent in English. But before we start, please do not forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell for our new uploads. Hi guys, welcome to our very first English tutorial video. And in this video, we will focus on the definition of fluency and the tips on how to become fluent in using the English language. So without further ado, let's get started. On this particular part, we will now be defining fluency using a general concept before proceeding to a very specific one. So what is really fluency? When we say fluency, it means that someone has the capability of doing something with ease and accuracy. It is also called as automaticity. We are showing or possessing fluency in our daily chores when we do not show complications or any difficulty of doing it. For example, when we are changing gears while driving cars, playing instruments, or even playing a sports game. Relating it to language, fluency means hearing and reading words without any mental or cognitive effort. That means to say, from the time that you hear and read that particular word, you would be able to understand its meaning. We are now down to the highlight of our first vlog about fluency in English language. In this particular time, I will now be giving you 7 tips on how to become fluent in the English language. But we need to always remember that it really takes time to become fluent. So for as much as possible, we are going to start early. Now let us start now with the first tip. First tip is that you need to really grab every speaking opportunity given to you. So if your teachers or someone would ask you to say something about a particular topic, do not be hesitant to say yes, because that is really your time to really speak your mind. There might be possibility or tendencies that you would stutter, or should I say you are eaten by nervousness. However, the only thing that you need to remember is the satisfaction after speaking. Second tip is to possess confidence while speaking the language. One thing that we really experience while speaking in front of a crowd or even in a small group is that we are very overwhelmed by nervousness to the point that we have experienced mental blocks or we cannot really say a single word because of it. But always remember that in order for us to really speak freely, we always need to feel confident. It's a mindset. Remember, confidence is a mindset. So if you are given a chance to really speak in front of a crowd or even a small group, just think that you are the only person there and you are only talking to yourself and no one is judging you. And that's one thing that we always need to put in mind. Feel confident while speaking. Third tip, maintain the clarity of the message. As a speaker of a certain language, our primary goal or our first goal is to make sure that everybody understands every word that we are saying. Now, in order for us to really maintain the particular goal, which is clarity of the message, we always need to use simple words depending on the context that we are in. Okay, so for example, if we are having a casual conversation with our friends and we are using the English language, we do not really need to use highfalutin words or complicated words because we are only doing a casual conversation. However, if we are talking with our professors or any persons with higher authority, of course, you always need to be formal. At the same time, we always need to be there to the point. In other words, less is more. Fourth tip, always accept mistakes. That is right. We always need to remember that no one is really perfect in using a foreign or a second language. So even though that we have committed a lot of grammar lapses, we should always continue using the language for us to become fluent, because that is our goal why we are using the language. We just really need to be open for any corrections from people for us to become better in any speaking engagements that we have in the future. So never give up if you commit mistakes, because that is the rule. Tip number 5, practice at home. You always need to consider your home as your first battleground in order for you to become fluent of the English language. So you may be able to use the language whenever you are doing household chores, like sweeping the floor, like doing laundry, washing the dishes, or even cooking food. You may sound weird, or should I say OA at some point, but of course, the reason why you're using the language is you want to have the mastery or the fluency of using the language. So it will never be something wrong. It only means that you are really eager to use the language every time that you will be having speaking engagements outside your home. So always practice. Tip number 6, use fillers or expressions. In a formal context like school, company meetings, or any formal gatherings, using of fillers or expressions is not appropriate, most especially if you're stating facts. However, in a different context like doing casual conversation with friends, peers, or family members, fillers and expressions is helpful because it gives you time to think about the continuation of the things that you have uttered earlier. However, you always need to remember that fillers and expressions will never be good if they are already dominating the sentence, because once it happens, the purpose or the goal that we have set prior to the speaking, which is clarity of the message, will be defeated, because we can only hear what you call that, I have forgotten, it's already in the tip of my tongue, how do you say that? If we always dominate those fillers and expressions in our speaking, we will never understand any meaning of the statement. So always remember, you are allowed to use fillers and expressions, but do not dominate them in every speaking opportunities that you have. Tip number 7, integrate communication strategies. There are a lot of communication strategies that we can use, most especially for beginners or those people who want to become fluent in using the English language. The only thing that we need to remember is that we need to consider our strengths and weaknesses before using the strategy, because not all strategies are really appropriate for you. There are some that it may be very difficult for you to adjust, or should I say there are certain part of the process for the particular strategies that you cannot really deal with. So always consider again your strengths and your weaknesses before applying or integrating communication strategies, because not all strategies are helpful. So there you have it, guys, the tips on how to become fluent in the English language. I hope you have learned something from this video on how to become fluent, and I hope you also consider the tips helpful so that in the future we are already confident in using the language. So always remember that it takes time to become fluent in a certain language, and we never expect someone to be perfect. So always accept mistakes, learn from it, and do better next time. See you in our next video.